'Tis the season to be jolly, and the jolliest man in the Gratton Cup Series a week ago was Brandon Bent, who emerged victorious in not only the best race of 2025-26 so far, but one of the best races in the history of the Gratton Cup Series last week at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Tonight we celebrate Christmas night at the Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. We've got 100 laps of action coming your way in the Rheem 375, the 9th race of the 2026 Gratton Cup Series season. Hello everybody and welcome to the Rockingham Speedway for race 9 of the 2025-26 Gratton Cup Series. We've got the Rheem 375 coming your way today. There'll be 100 laps of action around this slightly less now than a mile racetrack here in Rockingham, North Carolina. We've been here every season of the Gratton Cup Series. It is good to be back at this racetrack and should be a very, very interesting race and really looking forward to it. Still, of course, plenty to play out. We've got a tight championship battle going at the moment and we've got a pretty jumbled up order in terms of where the top 10 in the championship are a bit mixed up. So we're looking forward to this one. But my name is Stuart Gratton. I've got the owner of NS Racing, Nathan Stapleton, with me, and he's a very happy man at the moment because he's got the front row lockout of Jared Oren and Eli Bright. Nathan, welcome to you. Have a Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you out there, and to you, of course, Nathan. You've got the two cars starting up front. You've got 4 cars inside the top 22. This is a very, very interesting racetrack, very unique track. What are you looking forward to in this race, and how do you guys attack this race and try and get the victory?
Well, thanks for having me at Rockingham. One of my most underrated and favorite racetracks to call, honestly, on the I think we will see no different here today. 2 pit stops and possibly a couple of yellows. Have to see how it all plays out. And like you said, at the top, only one driver inside of the top 10 in points starts up here. So that's going to be really interesting for the points. And we got to see how it all goes down. And we got to see how the NS Racing cars do. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, but all 4 cars starting inside the top 22 is a good sign. But this is a wild racetrack with a lot of unknowns at times, so I'm excited to get this thing underway.
No doubt about that. So there are a lot of unknowns in this race in terms of how the cars will perform, who will be able to carry through, and then of course the yellows, which previously, you look back to the season 5 race, it was a caution fest. So and certainly season 4, you could probably say the same thing as well. So this is a racetrack where we can see frequent incidents. We haven't seen very many incidents this year, but we'll see if that ends up being the case in this race. Take a look at the championship standings coming into it. Dawson Miller, the championship leader, he starts 10th today. He's 7 points ahead of Henry Gore, and Henry Gore, 7 points back, second in the points, starts 39th. So not a good qualifying for him, so he's got some work to do. Noah Clifton lost the championship lead after last week. He is 14 back in the number 13. Kelly Lee finished second at Homestead in that remarkable race, as we talked about earlier. 16 points back, having a career year. Tristan Allen, 17 back. He starts 4th today, by far and away the best of any driver in the top 10. Brandon Bent, the winner last week at Homestead, 2-time series champion. He is 18 back. So top 6 all within 18 points of each other, which is fantastic. Dominic Anthony, 31 back. Addison Steinbach, 32 back. He's having a great year, although he starts 40th in this race. Benny Watson, your man, Nathan, he is 9th in the championship, 47 back, the winner of Atlanta, of course, and Jake Rogers, 55 back. So top 6 really very, very tight, which is fantastic, and we'll see how the points shake up after this race. There's still plenty to play out here in this season. Let's go through the top 20 starting lineup with Jared Oren and Eli Bright on the front row. As I mentioned, the NS Racing teammates of NS Racing front row, a lockout. Row 2, Christian Vargas, by far and away the best start of his career in the number 36, alongside Tristan Allen, as we talked about. He's 5th in the points. Seminole Motors teammates, Nathan Smith in the 25 and Richard Fridge in the number 20. Fridge finished 5th in this race last season. And this is the man that won the race last season, Alexander Rowe, number 51. He will start from 7th alongside Julio Caesar. He's had a rough couple of weeks, but he starts from 8th. Matthew Hubert, once again a top 10 start for Hubert. He starts 9th alongside our championship leader, Dawson Miller, in the 48. Starting from 11th is Charlie Davenport for Hedgehog Motorsports in the 52, alongside Kian Rowley in the number 10. Benny Watson in the 96 starts from the 13th position. We've mentioned 9th in points. Tyson Gifford in the number 7 had a great run last week at Homestead. Noah Clifton, 3rd in the championship, didn't have a great run last week at Homestead. He starts from the 15th position alongside Duncan Ward in the 54. Kelly Lee, 4th in the points, 2nd last week at Homestead. So close to breaking that long losing streak. But he's got a decent starting position today alongside Caleb Rose, who had a magnificent run last week. And then Thomas Troxell and Nicholas Samadeo round out the top 20. You'll see the starting lineup left side of your screen with thanks to Budget Car and Truck Rental. And so now, Nathan, I will hand it over to you as the cars get ready to roll off and fire up. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here in the Rheem 375?
Well, I believe this is going to be a trap position race with Rockingham. Give me the 5th place starter, number 25 of Nathan Smith, getting the job done here today at the Rock.
It's got a very nice starting position, Nathan Smith. And yes, this is a track where track position is really important given the tyre wear, which will be about 2 to about 2.5-ish seconds, maybe even 3 in some cases, 3 seconds between the peak times and, well, by the end of the run. Of course, keep an eye out at turn 2 as well, because that can be a trouble spot. Pace car dives on the pit road. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everybody. Hopefully we can make this one a good one. It's Jared Oren and Eli Bright to lead the field to green. The green flag's in the air and we're underway here at the Rock. Coming around to complete the first lap. What a start by Christian Vargas in the 36. He takes the lead very early on. You've got Nathan Smith on the inside of Jared Orange trying to get that outside to work. Eli Bright getting shuffled way back already on the outside of the 95. And you see him just scrape the outside wall there, and that's something to keep an eye on. That they can ricochet off that outside wall, and it can create some carnage. But Christian Vargas, what a start. Jumped down to the inside, 3 wide, and he leads the first 2 laps, but he's got Nathan Smith right behind. Jared on still on the outside, and here they go, 3 wide. Smith with a big move to the inside of the 36 and the 99, and the 99's in the outside wall. That'll lose him some momentum, but now Smith side by side with Vargas for the lead.
One thing I'm noticing is that there's a 2-lane racetrack here today. The inside and the second lane, a great one on exit up turn 4 from Vargas, and he looks like he has a fairly strong dodge here. But Nathan Smith with a great one in 1 and 2. 3 wide, it seems like the person on the outside of 3 wide gets into the wall a little bit. So for everyone that wants to have a clean race car, stay 2 wide. A little bit of separation out with the top 2, and a lot of shuffling early on, only on lap 4. 4 laps completed, now on lap 5.
Matthew Hubert up to 2nd. Nice start for him in the 8. So he's got Dawson Miller, who got his way to the inside pretty quickly. Eli Bright got shuffled way back. He actually found his way back to the inside very quickly. So the 95, after all that, is only in the 5th position. Jared Oren, not so fortunate. He got stuck on that outside, and he is now on the cusp of falling outside the top 10. As now Miller on the inside of Hubert for 2nd. This is a guy that has won here before. He won the Season 4 race. So he's someone to keep an eye on as this race goes along. Of course, the championship leader. But outside of a couple of races where he had mechanical issues in qualifying, Colorado and Coda, he's finished in the top 10 every race. So what he has done so far this year, wants that elusive championship, and so did Nicotech Racing. But he's going to 2nd. Bright's right behind. Charlie Davenport inside the top 5 at the moment, ahead of Clifton. And you can't count out Alexander Rowe, given what he did at Colorado, and you're in the booth for that, of course. And what he did in this race last season is now Bright to the inside of Hubert for 3rd.
And maybe even for second here. Boy is on the move, like you said, started second alongside the America's Racing Lockout on the front row. Brought back and managed to get back to the inside lane fairly quickly compared to his teammate of the 99. But look at the 48 there. Dawson Miller with a great one-off turn number 4, and I'm really noticing, Stuart, that the outside lane is really good in 3 and 4, and it's about even in 1 and 2, but the inside lane might have a slight advantage in 1 and 2, so that's going to be something that we have to watch out for. Definitely a multi-group racetrack here at Rockingham, but do not make it 3 wide. Nathan Smith keep the lead. For now, we got a lot of hungry challengers behind him, and now maybe a little bit 3 wide. Gonna back out of it. Some other move from Davenport in the 52.
It's all going on here in the early stages in this race. You saw Miller try and get that outside lane to work. Nearly pulled it off, but just couldn't quite get clear of the 25, and the 25 was able to hold the lead. But Eli Bright looks very racy. This car is very much up to speed, and here he goes to the inside of the 25 to try and take this race lead away. And this is a nice recovery given what happened on the opening lap, but he has got around it very quickly. So nice move for Eli, and he goes to the front of the field. Smith may try and fight it back on that outside. And he's going to try it, but won't pay off. The 95 is clear, and so Bright takes the lead. Charlie Davenport up to third. Here comes Rowe. Here comes Fridge, who has run very well in this race in Season 5. And finished in the top 5 in that race. It was a big part of why he ended up making the chase. But he's doing a nice job. He's already finished top 5 this year at Oregon. He's now up to 5th, getting around Davenport. Tristan Adams also won this race. Go back to Season 1, a long time ago. He knows how to get it done here. You got Hubert that's running the game. Julio Caesar needs a good run here in the 26. He's had a couple of bad weeks. And certainly Colorado coming to the forefront. We finished second to last. But, having a much better run here in this race. Vargas is still in and around. You got Max Davis, Thomas Troxel. Troxel's had a bit of a rough go in the recent past, but he'll be pretty happy with this, I imagine. Carlos Sustre as well, running quite well. Just inside this top 20. Brandon Betts started a long way back. He's working his way forward. You got Kelly Lee, who was second last week. That's Oren in the wall. And there they go. Oren's around with Crown. Oh, man. Caution will come out for sure. And that's what I was worried about. You get that outside wall, you ricochet down. He was dropping back, and eventually he gets in the outside wall a little too hard. Tried to save it, couldn't quite, and collected Roberto Crown. Now that's a tough break for Eli Bright as well, because he was actually starting to pull a nice gap on the field. So we'll lose a bit of that gap. But Nathan Smith's actually second, but Alexander Rowe's ahead of him. And he's actually not going to give that spot back. So Rowe will enter pit road second. That's going to be a benefit for him. But we'll see here. Everyone's going to pit, as you'd expect, given the tyre wear in this race. And now we've got an interesting situation where if this thing goes green the whole way, there'll be a bit of strategy involved. But Nathan, you'd imagine that everyone will take 4 tyres on this stop.
Absolutely. 15 laps in on the set. I don't think they would try any funny business here, because that's almost half the fuel one. So I would imagine 4 tires for everyone, 4 tires for Eli. And we will see if he will win the race off of pit lane here. And I believe it'll still be a two pit stop race from here on out. I was saying, whoa, not quite. They're going to be side by side, 3 wide for the race off pit lane.
3 wide in the pit road as Nathan Smith was coming out of his stall. Luckily, in the end, Bright is able to hold the lead. It did look close there with Alexander Rowe at first, but the 95 remains out in front from Rowe, Smith, Fridge, and Hubert. So not much change inside that top 5 in the end, but Jared Oren and Roberto Crown involved in that first caution. Let's take a look at what happened. Trigger the first yellow of this Rheem 375. Alright, so here's what happened to trigger the first caution of the race. Our pole sitter, Jared Oren, who got a little bit surprised. It's still trying to recover from maybe that move that Christian Vargas made at the start, where he made it 3 wide. He's just dropping back like a rock. He's already had a bit of damage on the right side. He gets shuffled way to the outside by Logan Williams right here. And this is where I talked about before. Turn 2 is a treacherous spot. He just gets a little too wide, gets in the outside wall, bounces back down into Williams. Can't save it, goes back up into the wall, and then comes down the racetrack as he's trying to save it into poor old Roberto Crown Jr., who has nowhere to go. And they both slide into the inside wall. And a bit of damage on both cars, which is a massive shame. Especially for Oren, given where he started in this race from the pole. He dropped all the way back to about out towards the end of the top 30. So, a lot of damage on the right side of that 99. And well, he's had a bit of bad luck this year, I think it'd be fair to say. But same with Crown, actually, in a lot of ways, too. The 43 also involved in this first caution.
Full speed ahead and following with our pole sitter and shuffled up 3 wide. Like I was saying, it's a 2-lane race strat here today, and nowhere to go for Crown Jr. as the 99 went down to the bottom, and that could have been avoided. Just if only the 99 did not get shuffled up to the 3rd lane, but a tough race for our poster here early on. But we are still very early in this Rheem 375, and it is the Rheem machine of Eli Bright winning the race off of pit lane barely. So let's see if how the restart all goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bright has looked very, very quick in this race. So we'll see what he can do from the front of the field. Take you back to this first restart here at the Rock. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going back to green next time by Eli Bright. Won the three wide race off of pit road, and just ahead of Alexander Rowe and Nathan Smith. You got Richard Fridge in 4th, Matthew Hubert in 5th, Tristan Allen, Charlie Davenport, Dawson Miller, Noah Clifton, and Colin Denton, who's made his way inside the top 10 in the 21. Everyone's still on the racetrack, but of course we know the 99 and the 43 involved in that incident. They have damage, and that may have an effect. Although to be fair, may not. Didn't look that bad in terms of the damage, so they might be okay. But they're at the back of the field. So still all 42 cars on the racetrack. And the race car's going to dive off on the pit road now. So Eli Bright to lead the field back to green. First restart of the day. And there's the green flag. And we are underway once again in the Rheem 375 with the Rheem Forward leading the race. Good restart for Bright, but I tell you what, Alexander Rowe had a rocket ship there through 1 and 2, got a magnificent run, but not close enough to get to the inside. Tristan Allen looking to make a move on Hubert. Dawson Miller gets to the inside of Davenport, and so he's up now to the 7th position. Bright holds Rowe off. Then Smith, Fridge, Hubert, Allen, Miller's obviously now ahead of Davenport, who's now under attack from Clifton. Colin Denton's still on the cusp of the top 10 at the moment. Oh, and that's a little bit close there. Tristan Allen may have a problem.
Oh, no.
So Tristan Allen's coming on a pit road. It might be a penalty perhaps on the 14, not sure. Didn't look like there was any kind of mechanical issue. That's a tough break for Allen, 5th in the points. Of course, a former winner here. That's going to set him back quite a bit as Bryson Rowe pulling away. Nathan Smith being hounded for the 3rd position. Fridge on the outside. Hubert getting to the inside of the 20, and Miller right there as well.
I believe it was Alexander Rowe that won the last time I was in the booth at Colorado, I believe. So he's trying to get a 2nd win, but I'm in a booth and he has a fast 51 machine, and once again, and for Gifford Technologies Inc., they've been fast this season multiple times, especially with Alexander Rowe, and trying to close into Eli Bright, but these top 2 have really pulled away from 3rd and back. We got a hornet's nest back here with Hubert, Smith, the 48 of Miller, among many, many others, all throughout behind him.
And Hubert's had a nice season to date in the 8. I mean, he's only had the 1 top 10. It came at Daytona, but he's been consistently inside the top 15, top 20. It's a big part of it. He's just outside the top 10 in the points at the moment. Richard Fridge trying to go 3 wide. Can't quite make it happen. Miller's going to get around the 25. But Hubert has been consistently there or thereabouts. They're 3 wide back in there. Duncan Ward on the outside of Kelly Lee and Kyla Sustre. And these guys are inside the top 20 at the moment. Duncan Ward just about to fall outside that top 20, potentially. But yeah, Hubert's been consistent. He's had a good year so far, and he's right up there in the Rookie of the Year contention, which, if memory serves me correct, I actually think is being led by this guy, Max Davis, who's had a nice season. He's had a couple of issues. Coda certainly comes to mind, but he's recovered quite well. He's actually inside the top 20 in points. Kelly Lee is having a nice season in her own right. Was somewhat disappointed that she couldn't get the win last week, but said that she wasn't that mad, given the enormity of the finish with Brandon Bent and the magnificent race at Homestead, one of the best we've ever seen in this series. Brandon Bent started 29th, and he's actually worked his way forward pretty nicely up to 14th currently at the moment. But the top 2 look like the class of the field at the moment, and I think, Nathan, you mentioned that last race we did at Colorado. There's Tristan, they're about to run up on him. But that last race you mentioned at Colorado, Alexander Rowe led all but 3 laps in that race, but Eli certainly had a very fast car in that race. To me, it's not that surprising that these 2 look like the quick cars at the moment.
Absolutely, and even though Colorado and Rockingham are not exactly identical, they are very unique racetracks. One under a mile, and then of course Rockingham is a mile. One is narrower turns, and one of them is a little bit wider turns, and both kind of got to move around a little bit. So I'm not too surprised that these 2 are out front. But we gotta watch out and see. We're only on lap 30, still got 70 laps to go. Still gonna have at least 1, maybe 2 pit stops left here in this one. Still got a long time. And we didn't really see a long one. It only was 15 laps on that first one before the caution. At that point, so we're kind of at an unknown territory on who might have a long one car for, say, 20, 25, 30 laps into a one here.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You look down the order. Miller is pressing here on Hubert, and these guys have broken away as well from Fridge. So there's the thing about Matthew Hubert, and you would know this given what he's done in your JBL Cup Series, the champion over there, and of course he's a very good owner as well with the Truck Series. He's actually the owner of Alexander Rowe. He's the owner of Spire Motorsports in that Truck Series, and Alexander Rowe drives for him in that series. So a little bit of irony there, and of course we recorded that Colorado race at the same time we ran the Darlington Truck race, in which he won that as well. So he's had a very, very strong year. But Hubert's done a nice job in this season. We mentioned that before. I'll just quickly have a look down the field. Charlie Davenport's having a nice run here. He's 6th at the moment. Would love to have finish in this position. Ken Raleigh looks pretty quick. He's got around Noah Clifton and Julio Cesar, so all 4 of the Nicotech cars inside the top 10. Colin Denton is the highest of the DW Fords at the moment, which hasn't happened particularly often this year, but he's doing a very, very nice job. Eli Bright's got that margin over a second now, so he's really got a very fast car. To continue looking down the order, there's Nathan Smith, he's 11th. Jake Rogers trying to work his way forward. He's got his teammate Kelly Lee right there as well. These guys just outside the top 10. Thomas Troxel again having a nice run. Brandon Bent 15th. Benny Watson, bit of a quieter day for Watson. He's 16th at the moment. Max Davis 17th. Duncan Ward 18th. Dominic Anthony's having a bit of a quiet day. He's 19th ahead of Kyla Sustre. A bit of a hornet's nest back in here with Vargas, and you've got the 33 of Williams, who was slightly involved in that incident with the 99. We saw that earlier on. Anderson Steinbach back in here as well. He's 25th at the moment. He's had 5 top 10s in the last 5 races. He's got some work to do if he wants to make it 6 in a row. And there's your other car at the moment. Travis Crampton down in 32nd. And Jared Oren. How about Henry Gore? 2nd in the championship. He's still running at the back of the field. 37th. Battling with Ludovic Charette at the moment. So not a great run for the driver of the 71. And just quickly as well, Monkey Racing. This is Alejandro Cruz in the 46. Currently 40th at the moment. Made the driver change after last week at Homestead, John Andrews no longer in the 44, mutually parting ways. And so Derek Hamill has taken over that 44, but he missed the race this week. So we'll see, may see Derek Darlington if he can qualify that 44 in. But to tell you what, Eli is pulling away. The margin now 1.36 seconds. Can't count out Dawson Miller in this race either. He just got around Hubert for third.
I'm liking Dawson Miller here. He got past Hubert. Let's be fast on the long one here. And like I was saying, we have not had a long one more than 20 laps yet in this race until now. And we are definitely seeing like Miller, White, definitely on the move in particular on the long one. And maybe even Alexander Lowe as he close back in a little bit. But definitely going to be interesting of how this all plays out, because everyone is a lot more spread out now. And I forgot to mention it, because it was a single file restart, we probably would see a long one, and that's exactly what we are seeing. Miller is going to maintain that third place spot. Alexander Lowe in second, White in the first place spot. And you mentioned Alexander Lowe, he's basically won everything this year on the and he's been killing that over here in the stuff as well. So the year of 2025 for Alexander Lowe, and he may as well just carry that over into 2026 as well.
Yeah, for sure. He's a very talented driver. 6 wins in this Cup Series across his career. Of course, a win earlier in the year at Colorado. Here's Richard Fridge. He is 5th, and this is a great run for Fridge, given he's best finish of the year was 5th at Oregon. He's top 20. I think he's top 15 in the points at the moment coming into this race. So he's had a nice season to date, and he likes this racetrack, clearly, running in the 5th position at the moment. We've got Davenport, who's now pulled away from these guys. These 3 Nicotech cars are battling pretty hard. Raleigh, Caesar, and Clifton. They're all right there and battling each other for position, but really, in the end, with Dawson Miller running 3rd, it's it's not really doing them any favours. Of course, still got a long way to go in the season. Denton's still inside the top 10. Would love to get a top 10 in this race. He's had a frustrating season. It started at Daytona. He was involved in that big one. And then had a late race pit stop at Atlanta. He had 3 points in the first 2 races. Had a lot of work to do. In probably the most famous car in this series, the 21, the most successful car in this series. It's been a struggle for him, but he's currently 10th, although he's about to lose this position to Jake Rogers, who used to be his teammate at DW Motorsport, of course. So Rogers now inside the top 10. He's slowly making his way forward as well. And Miller has now pulled away from Hubert, so certainly, it looks like, to your point, Nathan, he's got a very long-run car. And that car is quick now at this stage in the run. Certainly in comparison to Hubert, who is dropping back a bit at the moment. But they're all being led by this man. And Eli Bryce would be I know he'd be pretty happy if he were to go to victory lane. I know you would be pretty happy to see him go to victory lane.
Absolutely, I would. It's great to have Eli on our team for multiple seasons now. And in the Rheem 375, it would be very ironic, but this is a tough racetrack to win with the extreme Tyler not even halfway through, and Lowe is still hanging on about a second behind, but Dawson Miller is definitely closing in, not only to Alexander Lowe, but also to Eli White. So I do think with the long one,
we got a caution.
Never mind.
I was just about to mention we may still have another caution in this race, and we just got it. Alex Sanvitale looks like he may have gone around in turn 1, and so that spread out field, well, they've all just accordioned back together, and so Eli Bright, that lead has vanished as a result. So tough break for Sanvitale. They're still actually racing it back to the line. But Sanvitale, it's been a tough season for him. He's 30th in points coming into this race, while guys like his teammate Matthew Hubert and Charlie Davenport, these 2 teammates, are inside the top 6 in this race. So tough break for the 37. Everybody's going to come onto pit road now. So what this means is that it'll become a 3-stop race, because everybody will still have to pit again. So that will be interesting. And we'll see if Bright can win the race off a pit road like he did last time. You imagine again, 4 tyres, you'll have to be 4 tyres. If everyone took 4 tyres last time, they'll take 4 tyres this time. And we'll see where the 95 comes out relative to the 51. Bright, oh, looks like he's done. Looks like a slow stop for Bright. It's not good. He was in there for a long time. We'll see if Alexander Rowe can get a clean run. Looks like he does. Dawson Miller's going to jump them both. That's a great stop for Dawson. And he will take the lead of this race. And yeah, Eli's lost a lot of ground. He's lost at least 5 positions on pit road. So that's a very, very slow stop for the 95. So a lot of change this time around. Dawson Miller. I thought it was going to be Rowe that took the lead. No, it's the 48 who leapfrogs them both. Rowe second. Rally now up to third. And then Hubert and Clifton now inside the top 10. So Eli Bright down to 6th. Tough break for the 95. We've still got about half the race to go. Let's take a look at what happened to trigger the second caution in this race. So this is an unusual incident because in Rockingham you are capable of this, where a driver gets into the right rear and spins them around. What happens here? Alex Sanvitale is going to get hooked. And maybe Braden Perez was trying to run it in a bit deeper, and maybe Sanvitale caught it by surprise, but he just hooks the 37 into the outside wall. And Sanvitale is stuck up there and facing the wrong direction. And it's a very, very unusual incident before on the entry to turn 1. So a tough break for the 37. You saw the 92. Looks like he doesn't really have any damage, so he'll be okay. But with Sanvitale, it's not going to do him any favours. And Tristan Allen's also not going to get any favours because he's still a lap down after all this. So that's a tough break for the 14 in particular. He's probably the biggest loser of this yellow outside of the 37. So tough break for Sanvitale, and what's been a tough season for him.
Like Stuart said, a odd incident here. Don't know if William Perez just misjudged it or what, but makes contact with Sanvitale, and the tough season continues. And luckily that was it. Just a spin right there. And right when I thought that we're going to have a nice long one, maybe pit stops, never mind. But it still changes with the top 10 shuffling, and we got to see of how the second half of this race goes with a completely different order within the top 10.
Yeah, very mixed up order now. And Dawson Miller leapfrogs both the 51 and the 95 to take the lead of this race. We'll see what he can do. He's the championship leader for a reason. We'll see what he can do here on this restart. We've still got about half the race left to go here. Rockingham Speedway, the Rheem's 375. Let's take you back to the green. Coming back to green this time by, we're going to have 50 laps to go in this race. So still half the race to go. And Dawson Miller will lead the field back to green from Alexander Rowe. Kean Rally now up to 3rd. Matthew Hubert 4th. Noah Clifton now up to 5th. Eli Bright dropped a lot of ground on that restart. Oh, sorry, that pit stop, I should say. He's 6th. Richard Fridge is 7th. Brandon Bent is 8th. Colin Denton and Jake Rogers now in the top 10. Charlie Davenport lost a few positions as well. Everyone's still on the racetrack. We saw what happened to Sanvitale. He is on the tail of the lead lap. Something happened to Kelly Lee in the 76. She is 2 laps down and still on the racetrack. So, well, she might be out actually. She might have had a mechanical problem. Not quite sure. We'll have to figure that one out. But anyways, Dawson Miller will lead the field back to green. Here we go. Back underway here at Rockingham, and not wasting any time now is Alexander Rowe to the inside underneath of Dawson Miller for the lead. Side by side.
Fantastic jump from Alexander Rowe, and flying with the outside from Dawson Miller. And we got to see who will capitalize on this one. Rowe on the inside, Miller on the outside. Got Hubert to the inside of the number 10 machine. And they're still side by side for the race lead. These are some of the best cars of the racetrack here today, along with Eli Bright, I think, and maybe even a couple of other drivers. But Miller and Rowe are duking it out for the race win.
That was a .00 at the line. Rowe got him just by a little bit, and he should get past him now. He should clear, although no, not quite. Miller's going to drive it in very hard into turn 3. Now Rowe will clear off turn 4, and so he takes the lead, and Ken Rally is right in the game here in the 10. It's probably the best car he's had all year in terms of race pace. He's been very good in qualifying, but here he is currently going for the 2nd position, and he's going to get around Dawson Miller right here. He hasn't won since season 4 at Canadian Tire. We'd like to change that today. And Hubert's still in the game here. He's going to, well, try and take 3rd away from Miller. Clifton's right there. Bryce as well, still in the game. He'll be annoyed with what happened on pit road, but he's got a good enough car based on what we saw in that first 50 laps to go out and still win this race. He gets around Clifton nice and easily. Richard Fridge right there as well in the 20. He'd love to get his first win here today. Same with Colin Denton. It's a nice drive for the 21 as Rally clears for 2nd, but not for long because Hubert just shoots on past and Bright's going to follow through. And all this is helping Alexander Rowe try and pull away here at Rockingham. And now Miller goes from the outside to the inside underneath of his teammate, and he'll make that one stick, and Fridge will follow through.
Oh man, regardless of what happens here, Rowe definitely has one of the cars to beat, and he needs to drive away as soon as possible because 1, Bright is fast, 2, Miller is fast, and Hubert's been quietly inside the top 5 for most of the day as well. So, got a very competitive grid up front, and even Fridge in that 20 machine has been up front all the way long. So, definitely a lot of drivers that can contend. But it's been the top 3 now that have been good star drivers here today. And I still think that 48 of Dustin Miller might be the car to beat. I know Boy has a good car. I know Rowe has a good car. But in that one, before that caution, that 48 was starting to get better and better on the long one. And if we get another long one here, that could be right in the wheelhouse for that 48 machine.
Definitely, and we know how strong he was at the end of that Las Vegas race. He stole that race away from Rogel Dawn, so he comes on strong at the end of the run. He's currently 3rd at the moment. Fridge 4th, then Hubert ahead of Clifton. This is a great run for Denton. What he's done in this race has been very impressive. But how about Brandon Bent? Started 29th. Jake Rogers also started 33rd. It's just dawned on me. He actually started a long way back as well. So both of these guys have worked their way forward very, very well. And so you might have to watch these two late on in the race if they can make some ground. Not going to be easy to do though, because the 51 is, I wouldn't say he's pulling away, but he's certainly got a stabilised gap at the front of the field over the 95. Then Miller, who's under a lot of pressure. Richard Fridge looks very racy. To the inside he goes for the 3rd position underneath of Miller. And Hubert's still right there as well. Fridge won't get the run out of turn 2. And so he'll have to drop back in behind. So he will remain 4th for the time being. Clifton's still 6th. Back in there is now Rowley, who was 2nd for a bit, and I thought, geez, he might have a crack at the 51. He's actually back down to 10th now. Shows how quickly things can change. He goes to the outside, though, of Rogers. And Rogers has got the outside wall. He's got a bit of right side damage there on the 40 as well. So that's something to keep in mind. But Eli Bright just cut a 10th and a half out of the lead, and he's got a very good run through 3 and 4. So the 95 clawing his way back, trying to take this race lead back away from the 51 of Rowe.
We saw this on the last one where it looked like Rowe and Bright on the restart, on the previous restart, were about even, and then a couple of laps in, Bright kicked in another gear, and that's happened again, and then it kind of evened out, and then Bright went faster again, and then Miller went faster. Now Bright, is he going to try and rip the outside lane here in 1 and 2? He is.
Whoa.
95 is, oh my goodness, what a one.
What a run! What a run! What a move there from Bright!
Lead.
What a move from Bright to take the lead away to the outside, and it started with Rowe. He could not get the drive through turn 4. He tried to hugged the bottom to try and just to cover that move, but Bright just ripped it around the outside. That is very impressive, and this 95 is super, super quick. So that, Well, that's a statement move right there against one of the best in the series. Nice move there from the 95. He retakes the lead, and we'll see what he can do. He's got 34 laps to go this time. Still a third of the race left and another round of pit stops. So Rowe now second. Miller, they're spreading out a little bit back in here. Miller has now just pulled a little bit of a gap from Fridge. Noel Clifton looks like he's starting to get a little bit racy here as well. Can't count him out. You know, he's obviously already got a win this year at Oregon. Third in the championship, having a nice year. Would love to go out and get a second win of the season. No drivers won multiple races yet this season. Eli Bright, if he were to win today, that would make it 9 new winners, 9 different winners in 9 races. But Rowe, of course, and Miller, they would be the first repeat winners if they were to get the job done. Same with Clifton or Brandon Bent, who is still in the game. He's only 2.5 seconds off the lead. If he gets another yellow, perhaps he could move his way forward. But I'll tell you what, Richard Fridge, you mentioned him before, he's been up here all day. Well, here he is currently 4th and looking to have a crack here at the 48 of Miller, but it's not close enough. Heading off into 1 and 2. The margin now 6/10 between the top 2 guys. Duncan Ward back here in the 54 is currently 11th. That's a very nice run for Duncan, and that would be a career best if he were to bring that home. Ahead of Watson, who's had a quiet day, 12th. Davenport 13th, and Davis and Dawn. Julio Caesar's dropped back. He's down to 16th. Sustray's had a nice run as well in the 59. He is currently 17th. This team really needs it. They're on the cusp of that top 35. And then Troxel, Vargas, and Smith, currently the top 20. And then you got some interesting names back in here. So Anthony is 21st at the moment. Steinbach is actually dropping further back. He's actually just lost 2 positions. So he's 27th. Tristan Allen's still a lap down. So 14 in a world of trouble at the moment, points-wise. And then Henry Gore has made no progress whatsoever. He is still 34th, and he's just about to lose a spot to Alejandro Cruz. So it's been a really tough day for him. And Logan Williams as well. He's got the outside wall, and he may have got that damage from earlier on. I don't know, but he's dropped a bit back as well. And of course, these guys have damage. And I tell you what, while we were looking, it was Alexander Rowe closed right in on Bright, and I'm not sure if he made a move, stick or what, but that margin went from 6/10 to nothing very, very quickly. But Bright's still holding on to the lead for the time being, but Rowe has got a very, very fast race car.
I like that first one. Woe looked fast, and then it was Blake, and now it's looking like Woe. And I don't know if Dawson Miller is saving his tires for the extreme long one, but he has fallen off significantly from the top 2, and he has a hornet's nest behind him of 4 drivers that look faster than him now. So I don't know what Dawson Miller is doing. I thought he was maybe gonna be the my pit to win here late, but unless he is just saving his tires, I don't know.
Ooh,
Boy, Clifton into Hubert, a little bit of contact, and it's gonna be interesting of how this all plays out. Still with 26 to go, we still have a pit stop, so that's gonna be crucial on who ends up winning here today.
Oh, no doubt. And when you pit as well, it's going to be so important with the undercut, which will be significant. We haven't seen it because the 2 pit stops have been under yellow, but the undercut is going to be pivotal, because if you get those fresh tyres, then you're going to get the benefits very straight away. You're going to gain several seconds. Alexander Rowe is right there. He is right on the back. He is. I mean, he's sending Morse code to the back of the 95. I mean, he is right there. But he cannot make that move stick. And it's just interesting, good point you made about the 48. You thought he's going to maybe contend with these guys, but he's dropped away a little bit. So we'll see here if Rowe can do anything with the 95. And if he were to do so, if he were to make a move to maybe to the inside or the outside, if they were to battle, well, that would allow Miller to get very close once again. Noah Clifton just quietly is up to 4th. So he is far from out of this one as well. And then it's Fridge, Hubert, Denton, Brandon Bent, Rogers, and Rowley, the top 10, with Ward and Watson right there as well. So it looks like a 12-car race here at the front of the field. And that margin, 2.5 tenths just about. So Bright just getting that little bit of a gap back. But now Miller's closing back in. It's back under a second between him and Rowe, and that gap between himself and Clifton is now significant. So it's just kind of, it's like a rubber band. It's going back and forth a bit. You know, some drivers get the momentum, they have a crack, and then they drop away again, and then they come back, like a Dawson Miller, for example. So, and now you see him with Rowe. He's now dropped back to half a second. So I think very impressive though for the 95. He's able to hold the 51 at bay.
Yeah, I think when I thought the 48 might have messed up the setup on that last pit stop, and
Oh, here we go.
oh no! Oh, hold
Here
up.
we go.
This might be pit stops.
It's pit stops.
And it is.
So Rowe's the first to bite the bullet, along with Clifton and Davis, although Crampton and Parrish are in, but they were a bit further down. In fact, quite a few guys from the back look like have pitted. Rogers has pitted early, so that might benefit the 40, because he was up in that top 10 group. You'd imagine Bright will pit now, and he does. Dawson Miller's going to run long, so he wants more tyre life at the end of his run. Richard Fridge staying out as well in the 20, but most of the field coming in, and those guys who didn't pit before. So the 51 is the car to watch here at the moment, because he comes in. That's a nice clean pit stop, no issues, nice and clean on his way out. And then it's Bright, of course, and you've got to be careful as well. We could get a yellow in all this too if they're not careful on the track. Bright's done. That's a much cleaner stop than the second one. So we'll see. Fridge is on pit road. And you see, I mean, look at this. This is a great example of tyre life. You see Julio Cesar still out there, and he just got rounded up very quickly by Roberto Crown. So that's how important the... well, there's the 48. Miller is still out there in the 48, so I'm not sure what the strategy go is there for him. It's going to cost him some time, perhaps. Now,
Yeah,
Rogers...
Rogers
is just, yeah, I mean, that's very significant. But Rogers just gained a significant chunk of time, because he's now ahead of the 50. Well, he was close to the 51, but he's stuck behind Koshman now, and now he's losing time hand over fist. So you'd imagine here with Koshma, for example, he wants to run it long. You see the amount of cars a lap down. Clifton on the inside here, or trying to get to the inside, can't quite do it. But with Koshma or Dawson Miller, for example, they're running it long. They want a yellow, because then everyone is a lap down and puts them in a prime position to go out and win this race. But they're losing time hand over fist. So this is a very interesting gamble for a guy who leads the championship, as it should be said as well. You know, to make this kind of risk. And look at this. This is hectic back in here. Henry Gore trying to make some moves. You see Steinbach and Perez. These guys are taking tyres. And they're making moves. Koshma is in now. Oh dear, Brandon Betts. Has he got a problem? No.
I think he's just on really old tires.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon he just got the outside wall, so maybe that's what happened there. But it's all going on. Eli Bright is effectively the leader. He actually got out ahead of Rowe, so that must have been a great pit stop by the 95, because and look at the gap he's now got on the 51. So Miller here will have to pit sooner rather than later. Still staying out. So I don't think that's the right call at all. It's going to drop him a lot of ground. But look at this. The field's really jumbled up now. Out of these guys, Tristan Allen's still got a pit. There goes Caesar. He's on pit road. Tristan Allen's still got a pit as well. So even though he's effectively, he's fourth at the moment on the ticker. Oh, that proper contact. Yeah. That was actual contact between Hubert and Allen. That was close there. It almost gave Dawson Miller that yellow he's been hoping for. Can you imagine? He's still staying out. He's committed to this strategy. He's going to try and go all the way and wait as long as he can for this yellow. But with Bright now about to unlap himself, I just don't think... Oh, he got a yellow! He got the yellow! He got the yellow he wanted! He got the yellow he wanted! Duncan Ward and Benny Watson and Colin Denton. Oh my goodness. That... I can't believe that paid off for him. That is unbelievable. And Bright,
But yeah, Bright got past him.
yeah, Bright
Got
unlapped.
past him in time.
Bright unlapped himself, so that has worked out that's worked out all right for Bright, but it's worked out better than Dawson Miller than anybody else. My goodness. So he will come down, and you would imagine he'd have to take tyres. He'd have to take tyres. Surely. Especially given that now Bright's been on his tyres for about 10 laps. So, as you see, the 98, the 96 coming in. Oh, look at the damage on Steinbach's car. It's torn the whole left front end of it. Yeah, it's missing the whole left front end of that car. That's a lot more severe than I thought, and he's out of the race. So, a lot more severe than I thought, and Miller is in. As you'd expect in this scenario, he has to take tyres here, surely. There's 4, well, there's 2 right sides at least. And then he'll get the 2 left sides, I'd imagine. And he does. So now this race gets interesting. It gets very interesting. There's Bright. He's gone. And he is the leader of the race. But Dawson Miller will be second. Oh boy, we've got an interesting restart coming up. Eli Bright's the race leader. It's a good thing he unlapped himself. Caution out for the 3rd time today. Let's take a look at what happened. So this incident actually starts right up here. Tristan Allen's pitting, and you see he holds up a whole heap of guys, and you just saw in the back of shot there, Kean Rowley nearly got into Colin Denton. And as Duncan Ward is sliding up the racetrack, he's trying to make some space because he knows Allen's going to pit. And then I think Rowley's going to bounce off this outside wall here out of turn 4. Right there, and he comes down into the right front of Denton. And Rowley gets away with it, but Ward, Denton, and Watson slide down to the inside through the grass, and that is enough to trigger the yellow. But then, it's not over yet, because Benny Watson here in the 96, as he gets this car under control, and he will, right there, he gets into the 96, sorry, he gets into the 54, that's one part of it. Moves his way back up the racetrack, and along comes Addison Steinbach, and he just runs right into him. Runs right into the 96, and as a result of that bit of contact, the 96 and the 98 are out of the race. So, you see the damage there on the left front of the 98. His day is done. Watson's day is done. Both those guys, 8th and 9th in points. That's going to be that's going to really hurt them. And Kelly Lee out of the race as well. So some big names in trouble. Going to lose a lot of points today.
Tristan Allen was going to pit with the real strategy, and this shuffled everything up. And the 10 into the outside wall into the 54, 21, 96. One almost went upside down, caught a little bit of air, and then just made contact with Ben Watson. And then Watson up the racetrack gets hit by Steinbach, and you don't see that damage that often where someone is missing a complete fender, but that is the case here, and it's going to change everything with this restart, and a great day for some like Watson, and a quiet one from Duncan Ward was on the move as well. It's going to end in shame here at the Watt. But it's going to be interesting of how this restart all shakes out with Bright and Dawson Miller controlling the field.
Yes, well, this is going to get very interesting. So Bright had actually unlapped himself. He was the only one to unlap himself, and that has put him in the lead of the race. But with Miller now taking 4 tyres, and with about 10 laps younger tyres, I reckon he's in the best position to win this race. But we'll see what happens in this final restart, or we imagine it's the final restart. We could get another yellow, I don't know. But we'll see what happens. Eli Bright's the race leader. We've got a lot of cars to unlap. We'll get back to green. The Rheem 375. About to go back to green. 7 laps to go in this race. Eli Bright has led the most laps, but he's not in a good position at the moment. He is leading the race, which is a good thing, but he's got a couple of problems. And certainly this guy is the biggest of which. Dawson Miller is second, but with the timing of that caution, he got what he wanted. He got the yellow, and he's gotten 4 fresh tyres. Julio Caesar also came down a lap before, so he's also got fresh tyres. but he's actually a lap down. Alexander Rowe is third, Noah Clifton's fourth, and Matthew Hubert is fifth. A number of cars out of the race. Kelly Lee had a header problem under the second caution, and so she's out of the race. Benny Watson and Addison Steinbach got involved in that incident, of course, with significant damage out of the race. Here we go. 7 laps to go. Bright leading the field, but I would keep an eye on these two guys here, 26 and 48. What can they do with those fresh tyres? There goes the 26 down to the inside. Caesar and Miller's right there. He's going to get shuffled maybe to the outside. And he's going to be stuck behind Alex Sanvitale if he's not careful. Although he should get down to the inside, get clear of Koshima. And he does. And so now, I think it's going to be a matter of time before these guys get around the 95.
At the end of the day, this is Rockingham, and 10 lap fresher tires mean everything. Even though it's 5 laps to go, that 48 is on fresh tires when the 95 is on 10 lap older tires. And so it's one thing to catch up to him, it's another thing to pass him, because Bright's been fast, but 10 lap fresher tires is going to be the way to go every time. 4 laps to go this time by. Bright's been the fastest car, but the 48 is flying on those 4 fresh tires, and he's already going to take the race lead. Maybe? No, he's going to wait. He's going to wait for now.
Going to wait for now. It'll come down to these two guys. Alexander Rowe's third, but he's nearly 2 seconds back. Look at Miller. He is right on the back, but he's not making a move. Bright is just hugging the bottom of the racetrack in hope that he can somehow hold Miller at bay. 3 laps to go. Bright and then Miller, even with those younger tyres, he runs a little bit higher of a groove. Maybe try and get the run out of the turn a little bit better. You see Bright covers the bottom immediately. And he's going to move up a little bit. Hold the 48 at bay. This is very...
Boy, that's a teammate.
That's very close. 2 laps to go. Miller still cannot get to the inside of Bright. Caesar trying to run the outside. He's, of course, a lap down. But he can still have an impact in this race and who wins it. But Bright is doing a masterful job holding the 48 at bay. They're coming to the white flag this time. Eli Bright looking for his 2nd career win. Miller looking for number 13. Here he goes to the inside. White flag. 1 lap to go here at Rockingham. Miller to the inside of Eli Bright. And Miller will get him. Miller clears the 95 for the lead. Bright gave it everything he could. He just didn't quite get the job done, and Miller gets past. We've got a repeat winner in 2025-26. The championship leader, Dawson Miller, steals it late and wins the Rheem 375. The fresh tyres, the gamble paid off. Miller gets his 2nd win of the season. Bright 2nd. He drove so well today. Doesn't get the win, but what a drive from the 95. 2nd place. Rowe 3rd. Richard Fridge 4th. Nice drive from him. And Matthew Hubert ended up in 5th. And what a finish there at the end. Dawson Miller gets the job done. You'll see the final results on your screen. And Miller, just like he did at Las Vegas, he left it pretty late this time, though. He stole that race win away from Rogel Dawn that day, but today he gets it on the last lap, and that bold strategy paid off for him. And he gets the job done. Davis 6th, Clifton 7th, Dawn, Raleigh, and Rogers inside the top 10. You'll see the rest of the results. We go through it. A very close call. There was an incident by the looks of it at the end. Colin Dent with a lot of damage. Jack Haas also on pit road, so there must have been an incident in the cool-down lap, but a close call for you, Nathan. I know that you'll be a bit disappointed, but that was a fantastic finish there, and Eli did all he could, but the fresh tyres were just too much.
Absolutely. It all came down to the lap car of Julio Caesar. Had fresher tires as well, and went to the outside lane. White had to block Caesar, and that allowed the door to be open, and that got him the race win for Dawson Miller. No matter what, though, the top 3 fastest cars today finished within the top 3, and really, you can say that for the top 5 too. Fridge and he was really strong. Matt Davis out of nowhere gets a good one, and don't know what else to really say about that. Blight really tried making it with Dulcimer. You got first stars, but if you want this race win, you gotta pass me on the high side. Blight stuck it down to the yellow line, and did it for 6 laps, but couldn't do it for 7. So very unfortunate there, and very unfortunate end to our day for us racing. But you have those sometimes. But a very fun race though at Rockingham, and with all the drives up front and all the multi-groove action, it was a very fun race here at the Rockingham Speedway.
It definitely was. Championship standings now after 9 races, and that win catapults Dawson Miller. Well, it bolsters his lead. It was 7 coming into this race. He's now 24 ahead, with thanks to what happened to Henry Gore. Gore finished 30th in this race, so he drops a couple positions, but he's now Miller now 24 points ahead of Noah Clifton. Brandon Bent up to 3rd. Gore, as we mentioned, down to 4th, with Anthony 5th. Eli Bright will actually be, it says 6th on our screen, but you will see 7th because Tristan Allen gets the tiebreaker because of his win at Texas. But Bright still gains a lot of ground. Kelly Lee finished last, had a head air issue in that race under the yellow. Hubert and Fridge now, Fridge inside the top 10 is a nice effort there as well. And yeah, that was quite an entertaining race to see the rest of the championship standings. And yeah, I know obviously a bit disappointing for you, given that the 95 led so much of that race and just couldn't quite, just didn't quite work out. Dawson Miller got a bit lucky with that yellow, but he ended up having to make the move. He waited and waited and waited till the very, very end, and he capitalised and gets the race win. Still was only 0.3 of a second between first and second, so very, very impressive drive from the 95. But Miller very quick all day, gets the win, and as you said as well, I think the top 5 drivers in this race were thoroughly, were the top 5 drivers pretty much all day. So it was quite the race here at Rockingham, and 3 cautions, most cautions in a race this year by a fair old while, but still a lot of fun, and really had an outcome, had an impact on the outcome, I should say, on this race. But that does it for us here at the Rockingham Speedway, and the final race of the calendar year of 2025. Of course, next week. Well, actually, no. For people like you, Nathan, most of you watching, it will actually be the last race of 2025 next week, because it's a New Year's Eve race for you guys. It's a New Year's Day for me. It is going to be at Darlington, which is another track, of course. It's got heavy tyre wear, so we're looking forward to that one, and it'll be very, very interesting to see who can come out on top in that one. But Dawson Miller's the man to beat in 2025-26. He has got 2 wins now in the season and a 24-point advantage. So big thank you to Nathan Stapleton for hopping on the call. Congratulations to Dawson Miller on the race victory. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you for race 10 at Darlington next week. But goodbye for now.